Yeah, I'm happy that you brought this up because unfortunately the world thinks that the more Jewish you are, the more religious you are, the more Zionist you are. The more religious, the more anti-Zionist, because as I've explained, Zionism is totally contradictory. It's really antithetical to Jews. It just, the two cannot meet. It's impossible. Judaism is subservience to God. Zionism is rebelling against God in every facet. Now, the Zionists, being that they don't have the godly fear of God and this morals given by God of how one should live his life. Therefore, they have no compunctions with using the Judaism as a facade and a stick to intimidate others. That they wave the Bible and they use this emotional music. Oh, we were 2,000 years in exile and now we finally got back the land. We're a continuation of King David. And to us, we could vomit from this, listening to this, because it's so despicable. Because everybody, if you would just follow their lives, the whole state of Israel is breaches all the 10 commandments and everything of the Torah. They don't they desecrate the Sabbath. They have non-kosher foods, that they have pigs and everything. They dig up graves for archaeological purposes. And I go on and on. They do forced autopsy. But not only that, they brutally beat the Jews who are religious Jews. They detest religious Jews. There was one, Zev Jabotinsky, also one of the fathers of the Irgun, Elechi. There was a prime minister called Begin. He was his mentor. Everybody knows him who follows Zionism. And he wrote in an article in 1919 in Palestine.
What book is this now
again? This is, again, a traditional Torah opposition to Zionism. It's historic documents on nkusa.org. You can find NKUSA.
That's your website.
That's our website. You can find it. And he wrote openly in a newspaper called the Chadash's Haaretz, that means the news of the land. He wrote in 1919, in the national home we will announce that those Jews who have on themselves the rust of exile and they refuse to shave off their beards and earlocks, payas it's called, will be second-class citizens and will not have the right to vote. Now, imagine that. If an Arab person would say this, a Muslim country would say that, the Zionists would be all over them and say, how dare you do it? And they're the protectors of the Jewish people around the world. This is their hypocrisy, what they are. But not only that, the Jewish people, we're never militant. We're not armed. We don't carry arms. And yet when we have simply to voice our opposition to the Zionist occupation of Palestine and what they're doing, we have demonstrations.
Now, who are these people? These are rabbis?
Some of them are rabbis, some of them are laymen, just
now,
Jews.
These
are Zionists, these are the
these
police.
Muslims beating them?
These are the Zionists, they're police, they're soldiers.
So Zionists are beating them?
They're brutally beating them. We have reams and reams of pictures that can go to our site, NKUSA, and there's links. You can see, we have, as you've mentioned, we have demonstrations that never get covered because of their intimidation around the world, that you're anti-Semitic if you oppose them. So newspapers fear the fear of to dare speak up against Zionism or to show any sympathy for the Palestinian cause. Here we have tens of thousands of Jews when Netanyahu came to visit President Obama. We have, as you said, in New York, we have every year we have many times demonstrations.
And they're saying
tens of thousands of Jews saying that we are against the existence, the mere existence of this rebellion against God called the Zionist state of Israel. We don't accept it. It's unacceptable to God. Not we don't accept it. It's unacceptable because we are Jews. Because we are Jews, we oppose the existence of the state of Israel. We sympathize, we cry with the people of Palestine in their suffering. And what happens in Palestine? This is what happens in Palestine. We get brutally beaten. These are Israeli soldiers. This is what they do day in and day out. We get arrested, we get brutally beaten, our leaders were assassinated. And this is the chief rabbi of Palestine today, but nothing to do, again, with the Zionist rabbinate or that chief rabbi, which is a facade. It's just window dressing, and that they should be able to carry out whatever they need to do, rip up olive orchards. So they have assigned by their rabbis. Their rabbis may be knowledgeable, but that doesn't mean it's neither here nor there. It's nothing, because they are not upholding the Torah. They are not only not rabbis, but they are not practitioners of Judaism. They've excluded themselves from Judaism, and we have so many again, people could see pictures of the tens and tens of thousands of people demonstrating. These pictures are not big enough, but people go to the site, whether it is in Washington, whether it is in New York, whether it is in Palestine, mostly, or in London, around the world we demonstrate. We also go, we as Jews who are true to Judaism, we went to Gaza. We go to Muslim countries now because it's a requirement, as the chief rabbi of Palestine, Rabbi Teitelbaum, said, we are required to let the world know that these Zionists and their state does not speak for the Jewish people, and they are not in any way have the right to use Judaism to oppress, to steal the land from the Palestinian people. These people who are good to us, and we babysat each other's children, we live together, they have no right to steal from them. The Torah doesn't permit you to steal. And here we went to Gaza, we brought, just recently we sent an ambulance. We couldn't go recently because of what's happening. We usually go through Egypt, but unfortunately what's happening. But we sent from Norway, together with the people from Norway, we brought an ambulance. We went twice there after the attacks on Gaza a few years ago. And here we're non-political, so we're good with all the factions, with President Abbas and with the Prime Minister. This is meeting with Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh in Gaza, and we meet with, and we went to Iran and to Sheikh Qaradawi and all the people and the kings and leaders, thank God, to tell them that the people should understand that the religion isn't the issue. The Zionist wants to confuse, to make it that there's a religious conflict. Nothing to do with religion. On the contrary, the Muslims and the Arab people were for us our friends and our patrons, the ones who protect us and provide a safe haven, and they should not be full victim of this evil movement of Zionism. With God's help, if you will remove this impediment to peace, Zionism, a relatively new ideology, so 100 mere years, then the Jews and Muslims and Christians were living for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it was never a problem. We could just remove that little drop of sand that was thrown in the person in the eye. You can't. That Zionism, remove that impediment to peace. And don't be confused that you have to remove this religion, these people, followers of practices of religion. The world, unfortunately, confuses these issues. And that is where the problem is. And that's why there's no light at the end of the tunnel, because they feel that they have to force this Zionism, that it should continue. Remove it, and you won't have to put in billions of dollars for building walls and everything, because we can live together, as history so beautifully attests to the fact that we live together. We urge people, don't call it a Jewish state, call it a Zionist state. You shouldn't fall into the trap of being referred to as Zionist. And we urge people both to pray to the Almighty, who ultimately is the one who brings the results, and do not be silent, do not be intimidated. Stand up for the people of Gaza and Palestine, to urge the leaders, just as South Africa